ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Colts, Cowboys. This is exactly what we thought was going to happen. I remember being somewhere in the second quarter, even though the Colts were close. This is what they do. This is their move. They stay close, but we know they're not going to win the game. And I said, why are we watching this again? There was 49ers and Dolphins, which didn't turn out to be as close of a game as we thought, but still, that going into the weekend, that was one of the big games. This was the one that they should have flexed, which was Bengals and Chiefs, but CBS was like, you ain't getting Bengals and Chiefs. You better take your ass somewhere else. We paid for this shit. I get it. And they weren't going to give it up. And there's a certain allotment of games that the networks get to, keep and say, hey, we're not giving this game up. They probably were like, you're not taking Bengals Chiefs from us. Sorry. I get it. But there were other options. There were 6 games in Week 13 that featured 2 teams with above 500 records squaring off. This was not a game we needed to be exposed to. This was supposed to be on at 4:25 in the third window on Fox, in obscurity with only these 2 markets, Indy and Dallas, watching that bullshit. We didn't need to be exposed to this shit. There were so many other options available that you could have shown tonight, and this is what we had to watch because of Dallas. Because of the Cowboys? NBC should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of themselves. Enough of that, though. Let's actually talk about what happened on the field tonight. This was an absolute ass whooping. Think there's been a murder. I can't think there's been. I think there's been. Think there's been a murder. Somebody get the yellow tape. We got the chalk outline. Hopefully the medics are already here. Get the forensics unit out here. Pick up all of the evidence that you need. We already know who committed the crime. We just need to have the solid evidence to make sure that we put them where they belong. Because the Indianapolis Colts were absolutely murdered tonight. And I couldn't be more happy to watch it happen to them. Couldn't think of a better team to watch be slaughtered on national television than the Indianapolis Colts. And their eccentric owner, Jim Irsay, their gutless GM, Chris Ballard, and their old-ass garbage quarterback, Matt Ryan. I couldn't think of a better, and you know what? No disrespect to Matt Ryan. He doesn't deserve to be dragged into this foolishness, but he's at the center of it. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of a better team to watch get their ass wiped out. Watch them get the floor wiped with their ass tonight. He was talking so much shit after his interim head coach, Jeff Saturday, won his first game. Man took to social media, wagging his old ass finger at everybody, saying, see, I told you. And I said, hey, Jim, come back in a month and talk to me when y'all ain't won another goddamn game and y'all getting y'all asses whooped on a regular. Come back and talk that shit in a month. Try that shit on the train. I ain't heard from them since they won that first game because it's been ass whooping after ass whooping. They almost beat the Eagles. That would have been cute, but they didn't get it done. And then they got the ass whooped last week. And they got the ass whooped again this week. I don't know what the score was. When I stopped watching, it was 54-19. So did the Cowboys score again? Is it 61? I don't know. I stopped counting. After you go to a 40 burger, after you take a bite out of a 40 burger, I don't even need to stick around if it get to 50. If that first number starts with a 5, I can't open my mouth that wide to fit over the burger. All right. So the Indianapolis Colts, just think about this. The score at one point in this game was 21-19. And that wasn't back in the second quarter. That was in the third quarter. This score was 21-19. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the score was 21-19 heading into the fourth quarter. And somehow we get to 54-19. Man, that's a bad football team. How many Matt Ryan interceptions did we get tonight? 4? 3 or 4? I stopped counting after a while. He easily could have been picked off 6 times. Did that number stop at 3? We got a fumble out of him. We had a fumble out of Mo Alley Cox. Did they call back the Alec Pierce fumble? I think they picked that one up. And then Matt was like, I got it. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. No. You don't need to involve. You had a touchdown tonight. You don't need to involve yourself in this bullshit. Let me fumble. I got it. So Matt Ryan handled that for him. So he was accountable for 4. They won't put, so let me get this straight. They won't put Jelani Woods in the game, the guy that was single-handedly keeping in the game last week, the guy that was heavily responsible for their biggest win of the season against the Chiefs. They won't put him in after the best performance of his career. But they'll throw a tight end screen to Mo Alley Cox. You deserve to fumble the football. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Help me. Anyway, I digress. This was impressive by Dallas. I'm going to say this, though. I feel the same way I felt watching Philadelphia last week. Like, as impressive as aspects of the game for Dallas were tonight. And look, there ain't shit I could say. They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, what you want me to say? They forced 5 turnovers. They harassed Matt Ryan, had him seeing 3 of each defensive lineman for the Cowboys. He probably was seeing 4 defensive backs for each guy. It was 4 Cowboy defensive backs because clearly he was colorblind because there were passes you like, Matt, what the f are you doing? Or as a coach used to say to us, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know what the hell he was doing. I don't know what he was seeing. Clearly, he wasn't seeing clearly. The field, he wasn't seeing his teammates. But that's no here nor there. I felt the same way I felt leaving the Eagles game last week. Now, the Eagles won 40-33. The Cowboys, last time I checked, again, this is an ass whooping. I leave ass whoopings early. I don't stick around for the conclusion of ass whoopings. I leave those early. So it was 54-19. So I don't know. It could be 61 right now, for all I know. Matt Ryan could have thrown another pick. Maybe they put Sam Ehlinger in and he fumbled. I don't know. I can't tell you. But I still feel like if Dallas met the wrong team in the first weekend of the playoffs, they could lose. Here's why I say that. Now, every week Dallas is in a struggle for the first 3 quarters. They were in a struggle last week against the Giants. They were in a struggle tonight for the first 3 quarters. And Dak is throwing up balls that give you an opportunity to pick his shit off. All right. Got picked off. Should have been picked off before he actually got picked off. Isaiah Rodgers had an opportunity to pick one off. It just hit the ground. It was close. Dak is throwing some shit up that you can pick off. All right. They refuse, and I understand it's a delicate situation. Zeke is your guy. F that shit. And, they try to build Zeke up. Oh, my God. First of all, Chris Collinsworth is a hack. And, I'm not that guy, and I don't like to be that guy because I actually think he does a good job, but I'm a Mike Tirico guy. So I'll tolerate Chris Collinsworth if it means I get Mike Tirico. But Chris Collinsworth was saying stupid shit tonight. And my wife was sitting there. I was like, this dude is a dumbass. He's saying shit like, Yannick Ngakoue has been a great pass rusher for the Indianapolis Colts for years. Dummy, he just got here this year. Shut up. He was saying dumb shit like that all night long. So I started tuning his dumb ass out. And he's like, don't you just, and then, one of his favorites, don't you just get the feeling Ezekiel Elliott is finally healthy? He looks so, Ezekiel Elliott looks like he's running with concrete in his shoes. Shut up. It's slow as shit. Ain't nobody afraid of Zeke ass. Ezekiel Elliott is good for one thing, 3rd and 1, 3rd and short, 4th and short. Don't you just get the feeling Ezekiel Elliott is finally healthy? No, I don't. Sorry. I got a feeling. I just get the feeling he looks old as hell. I'm more afraid of Tony Pollard. But I've been telling you this for 2 years. I'm more afraid of Tony Pollard than I am Ezekiel. I want them to play Ezekiel Elliott against my favorite team. That's what I want. I don't want to see 20. Put 21 in the game, please. I beg of you. CeeDee Lamb is a special receiver, but everyone loves to talk about the shit that he does, and he does a lot of good shit. Don't get me wrong. I love me some CeeDee Lamb. I loved him coming out of Oklahoma. Dude's a stud. But CeeDee Lamb will drop the football. CeeDee Lamb will run improper routes that lead to turnovers. CeeDee Lamb's got some shit with him. For as good as he is, and he's really good, there's another side of CeeDee Lamb. Like, he's got some bitch in him. For as physical as he is with the football, hey, CD, he'll quit with 3 dudes over the middle. Like, yo, I'm going to leave. That's a business decision. I'm going to leave that one up. Anyway, I said all of that to say this. I still think you can run on Dallas. I thought they were impressive against the run, but they did not respect the Colts passing game. They were disrespectful tonight. They pretty much said it, and this is what I would have done the same exact thing. This has always been my thing. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Know thy opponent is what I always like to say. And know thyself. They didn't respect the Colts passing game. They said, hey, we dare you to throw that bitch. We dare you. We triple dog dare you to throw it because we know your ass going to throw some picks if you keep throwing the shit. We ain't going to let Jonathan Taylor do us, though. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. I would have done the same exact thing. And the Colts, they weren't good enough to let somebody else beat them. And if I'm Indy, just, Chris Collinsworth, like I said, I don't – he's starting to become a chore to listen to. It never was that way before. He's becoming a chore. For some of you, it's been that way for years. I was like, y'all leave Chris alone. Okay, I get it now. There's a gem in there. I told you that the problem with Chris Collinsworth is you got to sort through all of the bullshit to get to the one gem that he drops. And he's going to drop 1 or 2 a game. But you got to sort through a bunch of one-liners and a bunch of shit that you like, Chris, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Shut up. What are you talking about? He said one thing that resonated, and that was like, bro, y'all got to take shots down the field. Like, I mean, these Cowboys corners, at best, they're mid. Trayvon Diggs wants to pick everything off. You saw him get cooked on that touchdown pass. Like, I said all of this. I said all of that to say this. Long story short, because I don't want to talk your head off. Dallas is vulnerable. They had another injury that, first of all, they could not afford another injury in the secondary. And it did not look good for Brown. And even though Brown is ass, at least he's a starter that's ass with experience. They about to put another young in Kelvin Joseph. He looks like he's one more blunt, one more hit away from the blackest lips in the league. He can't cover anybody. So you got Kelvin Joseph at one corner now, who got cooked for the touchdown. You got Trayvon Diggs, who's a really good player, but very susceptible. We've talked about this. You can get shit on him. I would double move the hell out of him because he wants to pick everything off. He's greedy. He's always staring at the quarterback. That was a great job by Matt Ryan. Well, he didn't do much right tonight, but that was a great job of him pumping that shit to get him to bite because he's watching. To get him to bite. And to throw the touchdown to Ashton Doolin. Like, you can take advantage of that secondary. Here's the problem. You got to protect. That's the thing that makes Dallas so damn dangerous. I talked about it on the last Super Friends stream. Their defense is nasty, and it's because of their defensive front. And Dan Quinn, who I absolutely love as the defensive coordinator, does a great job of mixing in blitz and just rushing for. And he does a great job of rotating in fresh bodies to keep those boys. They got a slew of rushers that they can come at you with. Inside, outside. I think Donovan Wilson is an underrated safety. I think he just flies around. He's the perfect quintessential Dan Quinn safety. Flies the hell around. He's all over the football field. He hits anything that moves. He blitzes. The man got 4 sacks at the safety position. That's more sacks than some teams have from their edge rushers. He's a safety. He's got 4 sacks. Had one tonight. Look, I think Donovan Wilson doesn't get enough credit. You just knew that Hooker was going to have a play or two tonight against his former team. You know, it felt good to him to be able to do that against the team that drafted him, gave up on him. And look, in their defense, the dude was always hurt. It just didn't work. And sometimes you need to change the scenery. I'm actually frustrated because if you guys remember, I said I'd love Washington to take a flyer out on Amani Hooker. This is a former top 5 first-round pick with a ton of talent at a position that we were starving for talented players. And I said, it ain't even going to cost you a song. You can get this dude for a hook. It won't even cost you an entire song. Not even a 16, not even a guest feature. It'll cost you a hook to get this man on your squad. And we didn't want to come off the hook. And look what he's doing now. 2 years with the Cowboys, playing some exceptional football. On offense, they've got a nice little thing going, does Dallas. I actually think they need Odell Beckham Jr. Despite having some guy like Gallup is cool and he serves a purpose, physical, great at the point of catch, makes all the tough catches. He does the work that CD doesn't want to do. CD wants the flashy shit, wide open, catch it and run. He's good at that. CD don't want the smoke over the middle of the football field for real. That's Michael Gallup. Gallup will go up with a defender draped all over him, come down with the football. That's the guy that Dak will throw the 50-50 ball in the end zone to. Not saying that he won't to CeeDee Lamb, but he knows that Michael Gallup is the one he's the dog. He's the alpha that'll go up and get it. But again, Gallup still, I don't think is 100% back in terms of running. He's not running by anybody like he was before the injury. And CD, I told you, you don't know what CD you're going to get. You might get 9 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown CD. You could get 7 catches, 130 yards, and 2 score CD. Or you could get 3 catch, 37 yard, 2 drop CD. You don't know which one is showing up to the stadium today. And with that cripples your offense because CD is such a big part of what they do. Now, the tight ends are tricky because they got a bunch of them they could throw at you. And all of them serve a purpose and they nasty. So they got tight ends for days. They got the running backs. They got the receivers. I think you can get to Dak. It's going to take a lot. They got a big offensive line, but I think you can get to Dak if you got some guys up front that can put in the work. Like, I feel good about our guys having a chance against their guys. My guys are the Washington Commanders. I feel good about my D-line having a chance against Dallas's offensive line. I think you can do some work against them. Now, I need the officials to be vigilant because, Smith, he's a holder. He's a grabber. He's a choker. He wants to grab you up around your neck and hog tie you, put you to sleep. They be letting that shit slide. You can't let that shit slide. I got my dudes in here doing work. I need that to be called if he's going to try to use that as a method to protect the quarterback. That said, I could see Dak having, like he did against the Giants on Thanksgiving, throwing a couple of picks. For all of the points that they're scoring, Dak's turning that bitch over. He's throwing it. He had another one tonight where you like, even Chris Collinsworth was like, what the hell happened on that throw? Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's going to give you a chance on some opportunities, some throws. And you could be in that ball game against Dallas. What you have to guard against, though, is that defense and you have to stay out of 3rd and long. You cannot find yourself in 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9 and hell, even 3rd and 7 really ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. Because they're coming after you and they're so damn fast. But like I said, they're light up front. You can run on them. If they don't respect you, and they didn't respect the Colts, so they were loading up to stop Jonathan Taylor. You got to make them respect you. And the Colts needed to throw the football down the field. every time they went deep, they had a completion. They just didn't go deep enough. And again, maybe some of that was they didn't think they could protect long enough for Matt Ryan to load up and give guys a shot down the field. But I just would have done it more. But this is the thing. And this is what's scary is I watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do this 2 years ago. They played a bunch of garbage teams late in the season. They started rolling up a bunch of points, and they started gaining confidence. And they took that confidence and ran it into the playoffs. If you remember, they didn't win the division. They were a wild card. They had to go on the road. Does this sound familiar? Dallas may not win the division. They may have a good-ass record, but they still might not win the division. They may have to go on the road against a team with a worse record that had a division winner, not over 500. Does this shit sound familiar to you? I'm not saying. I'm just saying. They play Houston next week, Jacksonville the week after that, Tennessee the week after that, and then Washington. Okay, there's a Philly in there somewhere that I forgot. All right, but I said all of that to say this. They finish up with a bunch of teams that they can roll up some points and some yards and some confidence on and parlay that shit into a nice boat of confidence going into the postseason. Now, again, they play some NFC East teams that will humble their ass and keep it close and won't let them score 54 or whatever they ended up scoring tonight. I'm gonna assume 54 was it. But they're in a really good spot because if they stay where they are, which is the 5th seed, they're probably going to have to go to Tampa. And I don't know if the Buccaneers are ever going to get their shit straight. I'm just going to assume that they're not. But they could. It's still enough time left in the season. They still got 5 games, including tomorrow night's contest. Still got 5 games left. 6 if you count tomorrow night's game against New Orleans. So they got time to clean their shit up, but I don't know if they are going to. And Dallas is fully capable of beating them. So you go there, you beat Tampa, and then you might have a date with the 49ers. If they stay where they are, I don't know. Seattle might come take that shit from them now with, Brock Purdy at quarterback. I don't really know what's going to happen with the 49ers with the injury to Jimmy Garoppolo, but this shit's setting up well for Dallas. I'll just say that. But it's also setting up for they can go to Tampa tripping. Dak is feeling real, feeling really, really generous. All of a sudden, the Bucs decide, hey, we ain't having that running shit today. And I don't think that Bucs defense is coming back this year. I kept waiting. I was like that kid with a dad that, divorced mom. You live with your mom. Your dad says he's coming to get you next Thursday. Be ready when I get off work at 6. I'm coming straight to pick you up. And I'm sitting in the window and I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And now it's 6:30. And I'm waiting. Now it's 7. And I'm waiting. Now it's 8 o'clock. And mom's like, I think you should just go to bed, son. I think you should just go to your room. And I'm like, no, Dad said he was coming. He'll be here. Just give him a chance. And now it's 8:30. And mom's like, all right, son, just go in your room, please. I'm so sorry. And at 9 o'clock, you finally decide to go to your room because he's not coming. That's how I've been with the Buccaneers this year. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for them to turn the corner, for Brady and that offense to get it going, for that defense to go and look like the defense that I know they're capable of being. And the shit just ain't happening. And I just have to come to the realization, like I did with the Rams, who are absolutely putrid, like I had to with the Bucs and the Packers. They're not good this year. The Packers aren't good this year. The Rams aren't good this year. And the Bucs aren't good this year. They'll be good enough to win their division, but that's not saying much. So I'm looking at Dallas and I'm thinking, man, this could be the year that they could win a playoff game or two. It really makes shit interesting. And you know how it goes. You win one and you win another one. All of a sudden, that confidence starts to bubble and swell. Hey, shit can get real. I've already said the NFC is as wide open as it's ever been. There is no Rodgers. There is no Breeze. There is no Manning. There is no quarterback here. No Wilson. No Stafford. None of that shit. It's just Brady, and Brady don't even look like Brady. It's Hurts. It's Brock Purdy. It's Geno Smith. It's Kirk Cousins. It's Dak. Like, it's a bunch of quarterbacks who ain't never won shit. And we supposed to be scared? If you Dallas, you saying, shit, we got probably the most experience of anybody. Now with Jimmy Garoppolo ass out the way, we probably got the most experience, playoff experience. We ain't won shit, but we got experience. Shit's going to be interesting in the NFC. I can't speak to what's going to happen in the AFC because, them young boys over there playing ball. Joe Burrow, he did it again. And Mahomes ain't going nowhere. Burrow going to have his squad there. And, Tua showed his ass today, in a big spot. That's the shit he decided to turn in. I was like, so I gave you all this time for this big project that was due, Tua. Gave you this big project. Said this shit is due on December 4th. And this is the shit you turn in. You had all this time to work on the project. And this is the shit you turn into me. I'm disappointed. But he ain't going away. Tua and that Dolphins football team, they got their ass spanked today. They're not going away. Don't forget about Josh Allen and the Bills. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. So you better not forget about them. AFC is a lot different because it's dogs at the quarterback position everywhere. It's alphas everywhere. Ain't too many of them in the NFC. So, hey, man, Dallas, they look as good as anybody right now. Defensively, they got a quarterback. I still think that he's making some questionable decisions, but shit, Josh Allen he's making questionable decisions too. Is Josh Allen. So shit happens. I guess when you're an explosive offense and you're a risk taker, it comes with, that's the price of admission, right? That's the cost of doing business. You're going to throw a couple picks, but you might look up at the scoreboard and you might end up with 57 points. So 54 points. So I guess you take the good with the bad, but they can score. And quickly, as you saw tonight. So I like this, the way the Cowboys are coming together. They're coming together real nice at the right time of the year. And as I mentioned, the beauty of their schedule is that they got a lot of layups coming their way. All they got to do is put it in the basket, man. They got a lot of these teams they about to play. If you put a full court press on them, they're going to turn the ball over. You speed them up, and that's the Cowboys. That's how they play. They speed you up. You ain't seen this 1-3-1 trap. You ain't seen this 1-2-2 trap before. So you throwing the ball in all kinds of corners and getting trapped, and the sideline is acting as another defender, and you ain't got no real ball handlers for real. Yeah, Davis Mills got benched for who? Kyle Allen? You ain't got no ball handlers. You about to turn this bitch over. They going to be scoring all kinds of points. Running the score up. The Titans might be having their rookie quarterback under center. I don't know what the hell, the Texans are going to have a quarterback next week. Jacksonville, hit or miss. They're at home. That's going to be interesting because when they're at home, they play better football. They got embarrassed today, but that's on the road. They just don't win on the road. I've told you guys that already. At home, when they're going to beat somebody or at least make it interesting, it's going to be at home. Look out for Dallas. I'll just say that this was impressive. Just like last week, what Philadelphia did, even though they gave up 33 points, some of it to Jordan Love. You rush for over 300 yards with somebody, that shit's impressive. So we saw two of the best teams in the NFC, do their thing on Sunday night each of the last 2 weeks. And the NFC is wide open. I'll just say that, but I'm going to tell you, it's some good teams in this conference. We may talk about the quarterback position and all of the teams that don't have experience and this, that, and the third, and that's everybody in the playoffs right now. None of these quarterbacks have any pedigree. With Jimmy Garoppolo being out, and it's crazy we keep talking about Jimmy G, but he had been to a Super Bowl. He went to the NFC Championship game last year. Jimmy knew what it took to get his team where he needed to get them to have a chance to win. Nobody else in the playoffs in the NFC can say that right now. Not Jalen Hurts, not Kirk Cousins, not Dak Prescott, only Tom Brady. And I'm afraid that his coaching staff and the surrounding pieces, it just ain't good enough this year. But we'll see. Like I said, still 6 games left for the Bucs. They got to slay they got to slay that demon tomorrow or tonight, rather, if you're on the East Coast. The Saints, this has been the annual ass whooping game where the Saints come in, plunder and pillage the Bucs in their own building, make them walk the plank, strip them down naked, embarrass them, point and laugh. They do all of that shit to them at home in this specific game every year. And honestly, I could see the shit happening again. But I think Tampa Bay is going to find a way to get it done. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section, man. This game was just brutal to watch. And it was even more gruesome to watch when you thought about all the options that existed today. And generally, the NFL doesn't take 1 o'clock games and make them 8 o'clock games. They take 4 o'clock games and make them, 8 o'clock games. And there were options galore. None bigger than San Francisco, Miami at San Francisco, and Kansas City at Cincinnati again. CBS wasn't giving up Kansas City at Cincinnati. They weren't going to do that. But there were 6 games with teams over 500 playing each other. You could have given us something better than this. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. All right, so real quick, if you're out there and you want your comment to be read, use the hashtag LouieTLive. We'll get to as many hashtags as we can get to in the allotted amount of time. Super chats are the way to jump straight to the front of the line and ensure that your comment is read. So you can run the risk of using the hashtag and we get to your comments, but there's no guarantees. I'm like Chico the Bodge. Not now, not now. No guarantees. No guarantees, but you've been warned. All right, so let's get to the comment section. I've talked enough. Got a super chat here from my resident Colts fan, Jonathan Hankey. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Jonathan, writes, well, Lou, draft season can't get here any quicker now for my Colts, LOL. I've been there, bro, many a times. Trust me. In this very spot last year, the Cowboys, they put up a 52 spot on us? Been there, bro. I think we caught a 52-14 body last. No, 56-14 body last year on Sunday Night Football. You ain't said shit that I can't already relate to. Okay, you ain't said nothing but a word, bro. So been there, done that. All right, don't want no more of that. But many a years, we would have been talking draft in October. So know the struggle. It's real. And honestly, for the betterment of your organization, you'd be in a much better position if you just didn't win any more games. But again, your team is still fighting. I can see you winning one. But this is the thing. You've played all of your AFC South games except one. Yeah, that's at the very end of the season. You might not win another game. And that would be the best for you. But again, I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, Chris Devers, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, CD, writes, yep, I want Philly, New York, and Washington not close. That's fine. I love the confidence. I really, truly hope that you have something to play for in week 18. I'm going to put the same disclaimer out on your head as I put on LB's head when everybody was laughing at me when we were 2-4. And I said, I hope you're undefeated when I see you. Don't let me catch you in the street undefeated, boy, because we're going to do you. And what did we do? On national television, we went to their house and did them. And I'm going to tell you the same thing like I told him. Don't let me catch you in week 18 needing some shit, because we're going to do your punk ass, boy. But you my guy. But don't come in here with that weak shit, Chris. Jonathan Hankey, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Jonathan, double up. Thank you for doubling up. Right. I can't believe they didn't flex this game out and replace it with Bengals and Chiefs. Shaking my head. Again, I'm going to just tell you this. CBS wasn't having that shit. CBS, there's a certain allotment of games that the networks, Fox, CBS, they get to hold on to. Like, you can't take this game from us. They can't preserve every single game, but it's a certain amount that they get to say, hey, you can't touch this. Like MC Hammer. All right. This was one of those games where they just, you're not taking this from us. So they won't get in that game. They would have had to have taken, and because Fox didn't have the America's Game of the Week, they would have had to have taken 49ers and Dolphins. And they should have. They should have. They should have taken it. Chris Devers, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. My guy, CD writes, been a minute. How are you going to tie with New York? LOL, love it. You know why it's been a minute? Because you a loser. You got a loser's mentality, Chris. Because when your team is up, I hear from you every day, okay? Every stream, you around, right? When your team is down, all right? When y'all lost to Tampa Bay in week 1, anybody seen CD? Anybody seen Chris? Your ass was missing on a milk carton, right? Anytime your team's struggling, I don't hear from you. You're a front runner, just like every other Dallas Cowboy fan out there. You my boy, but I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser, raw, like it needs to be told to you, okay? You're a front runner, just like all of those Cowboys fans that be in the stadium. Know half of the squad. Don't even know what the hell they talking about. Front runner. You like my sister. She on the phone the whole goddamn game, can't tell you what the hell happened. Just know if Dallas won or lost. You're a front runner. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Swaggy P, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, don't understand why this game wasn't flexed out. We all saw this coming. Exactly. And I already told you why. It's Dallas. America's team. Jersey boys. People are going to watch. You heard what they said. This game was standing room only. Why? Why? Because you know why? A front-running ass group of fans wanted to see their team run the score up on a garbage team. When they supposed to show up, when a good team's coming, pack the joint and not let the other team's fans in, they don't. Other teams' fans come in there and take the shit over. But when they playing a poor, helpless Indianapolis Colts, they want to pack the joint full to the damn rafters to see the Cowboys roll up 54 on their ass. Shameful. We shouldn't have been subjected to that. But we were. Jonathan Hankey, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Jonathan, writes, time to bench Matt Ryan, and he needs to retire. Also, Ballard needs to be fired ASAP. Hey, that's y'all guy. That's y'all GM. And I think y'all going to let him pick this quarterback that he should have picked 3-4 years ago that he was too scared to pick. So, good luck with that, man. Good luck with that. Your owner is cuckoo. You didn't hear that from me. He's eccentric. That's what we're going with. Your GM is a coward. And your organization lacks direction. That's again, hey, the reason I can speak to you so candidly is because I've been there, okay? I've been there. Owner is a douche. Well, mine is. I can't speak for you. I don't know if your owner's I don't think your owner's a douche, okay? I just think he's a little, but I think he's still a good dude at heart. Our guy, his heart is black, okay? All right. And then we had Bruce Allen as our team president / GM. I've been there when you got an organization, it's rotten at the top, and it lacks direction and you don't know where the hell you're going. I've been there. So I can speak from experience. It's a tough spot to be in as a fan. John Cedillo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. John, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "Sup, Lou? I agree with the first half concern." This is a real thing, John. I'm glad you understand. First of all, can I just say, John, you're one of the most rational Cowboys fans I've encountered in a very long time. Can I just say that to you, John? I actually enjoy our conversations. I just need to say that to you, John. I look forward to hearing from you after every Cowboys game. Win, lose, draw, I know John's going to show up, unlike somebody that earlier was talking some shit. And I know John's going to come with some real, actual factuals. Continue, John. I'm sorry I interrupted you. The early struggles for Dallas, if made against better teams, could cost them. That's all I'm saying. That is all I am saying. If they clean that shit up with what they're doing to teams in the second half, i.e. Chicago, okay, i.e. the Giants game last week, i.e. this game, okay, you're letting teams hang around, score a bunch of points, not necessarily the Colts, not necessarily the Giants, but you're letting teams hang around in the first half. You're making mistakes. You went for it on fourth down last week. You didn't get it. Again, disrespectful to the Giants. But Mike McCarthy do some real questionable shit. It really don't matter who the opponent is. You know, you be thinking, oh, if that was the Chiefs, he probably would have did that shit anyway. Because Mike McCarthy, I told you, he's not a good coach. I'm glad he's winning because you were thinking about getting rid of Mike McCarthy. I need Michael McCarthy to stay right where the hell he is. Because as long as he's your coach, you ain't winning a damn thing. You ain't winning nothing. So I'm glad he's winning. Thank you for that, John. I truly do appreciate you. But your team is dangerous. I will say that. I will say that. Paul Bittinger, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Lou, Paul, man, I love your content. You make ties and losses bearable. I know this is for the Sunday Night Football, and I missed your live Washington video, but man, a tie? This makes the next game huge. Yes, it does, Paul. We talked about that on the Washington show, that the tie makes the next Giants game massive. No matter what happens during our bye week, whether the Giants take care of business versus the Eagles or not, whether the Seahawks take care of business, I don't know who they're playing next week. We'll go over the schedule during the course of the week like we always do. No matter what happens with those teams during Washington's bye week, I already said I don't care about what anybody else is doing. We need to take care of our own business. That's going to be a big one. Huge. You can't afford to lose to the Giants. I really was looking forward to sweeping these dudes. But, hey, I'll take a tie. Tie's better than a loss. But, man, we easily could have lost the game. We also easily could have won the game. We had our opportunities, just like the Giants did. Both teams are lamenting opportunities wasted and lost. And I sincerely feel this way, but Giants fans feel the exact same way. I feel like we're the better team. I feel like we're the better team. And I think they're the better coached team. I've made this abundantly clear. But I think we're the better team. And if we just do the little things, we clean up some of the mistakes that we made today. And again, the officiating was not its best. But you don't know what you're going to get. Every game is a roll of the dice, depending on what, officiating crew that you get. You can't worry about what the officials are doing, even though it does impact the game. We had our opportunities outside of some of the calls that we thought were bogus or missed, whatever the case may be. We had our opportunities, and we just didn't take advantage of it. So, we got to have it. To your point, we got to have it. DC4L. Dig, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy DC4L writes, Diggs owns Terry McLaurin. Get the F out of here. Again, you sound like another one of those Cowboys fans that really don't know football. You just show up after a win, right? I think that's you. You're the one that I'm talking to. You're the one that I'm talking about. When I lump these Cowboys fans in this big conglomerate of these fair weather ass Cowboys fans that don't really know shit, if you watched the games, then you know your boy's been getting away with murder. I can put together a nice little reel for you of your boy grabbing waist, like we out here dancing and shit, grabbing hips, shoulders, getting away with murder and not having the flag thrown. We already know your boy has already been arrested multiple times for groping people. And we know your boy's out here. He's a thief. We know he's on the run. But we also know that he's out here molesting folks, assault and battery. We know that this dude be getting away with a lot of shit. Trust me, it ain't been a fair fight. But I like that we get two of these every year. We get two of these. I just wish my boy Terry had a fair shot. That's all. Taylor gives him an opportunity, whereas Carson Wentz didn't. And that's the one thing I respect about Taylor. At least my boy Terry's going to get a chance to eat, but he ain't eating like he should. He ain't eating good in the neighborhood like he should against bums like your boy. But it's all good. We see y'all again. And like I said, to the other fair weather fan, my guy CD, I hope y'all got something on the line in week 18. I hope so. We'll be fighting for our playoff lives. So we'll be playing with intent. I hope I can say the same about y'all. Hope y'all got something on the line. I would love nothing more than to bust y'all ass going into the playoffs with no excuses. Vincent Cole, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Vincent Cole, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, watch the Jets game. Garrett Wilson is him. He's a dog. Those Ohio State receivers were really good this past year, okay? Just so you know, that there's a reason why those boys went back-to-back picks in the draft, right? One went 10 and the other went 11. There's a reason why they went in that order. There is a reason why they were the second and third receivers, respectively, of this draft. Easily could have been the first and second. Olave's been doing his thing. We'll get up close and personal with him tomorrow night. Tonight, for those of you on the East Coast like myself. And we know Garrett Wilson, and he's been like pissed off because he hasn't had real quarterbacking. And, you know, he's been much better with Mike White in there. So that was some good stuff. That was a fun game, too. Sports with comma. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Sports with comma writes, CD only has 3 drops the whole season, shaking my head. Hey, whatever you got to tell yourself, man. Whatever you got to. You watch the games, right? I watch the games. Whatever you got to tell yourself, man, to make you feel better. 3 drops is a lot of drops. When those drops take place. How many times has he run behind a defender and caused an interception? That's worse than a drop. Anyway, hey, whatever you got to tell yourself to make you feel better, man. He had how many drops against the Giants on a Monday night earlier this season? I don't know. It had to be at least 2 or 3 in that game by itself. You telling me he ain't dropped another pass the whole season? I can't buy that, man. I don't know. I'm just telling you what my eyes see. But I would say I take your word for it, but I don't. But that's cool. There's a wise man once said to me, hey, it's cool though. Know what I'm saying? Just fed up. That's my word. F. Altus, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, please don't talk soccer again. It's playoffs. Now for the World Cup, so you will enjoy the games that are happening. I stay away from soccer. I know nothing about soccer. I know nothing about soccer. I'm just telling you that I can't stand a sport in which it is acceptable to have a tie and that teams are actually aiming for ties. I know there's a benefit to it if you've already done your work and you don't need X amount of points. I don't give a shit. The essence of anything that you do competitively, at least this is how I was brought up. The essence of anything you do competitively is to win. Second place is nothing more than the first loser. I don't want a tie. The only ties that I want are the ones that go around my neck that make me look dapper. I don't want a tie. I don't want to draw. I'm going to leave it alone because I'm not a soccer dude. I'm going to leave that for the people that enjoy the sport. I will just make a mockery of it. I'll leave it to you, FL2. You got it for the both of us. Vincent Coe, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, Vincent Coe. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Writes, is Mahomes ever going to beat Burrow once? Of course he will. It'll happen, but he's struggling right now. And this is the thing about NFL and matchups is you got to get somebody to not be afraid of you, to not be intimidated. Like when the Chiefs play the Bills can beat them as many times as they want in the regular season. But when they get to the playoffs, there's still this mental block that the Bills have like, hey, we got to beat them. And everything that they're doing is geared towards beating Kansas City. That can become all-consuming to the point where it affects you against lesser teams because you're just thinking about, we need to beat Kansas City. You got to be careful with that shit. All right. The Chiefs are the gold standard, and that's the team everybody's looking to dethrone, that everyone's looking to beat. The Bengals are that young upstart, that's coming up in the game. They're Marlowe. Stringer Bell and the OGs, they trying to protect the corner and they turf, and Marlowe's coming up and they taking over all of this shit. And them boys are dangerous. And the Chiefs know it. Eventually, they're going to get got. Because as we saw with Omar, everybody eventually gets got. But it's going to take a little while. Because the Bengals not afraid of them. That's the thing, is the Chiefs intimidate everyone. Because that's the psychological warfare. We've already beaten you 2-3 times. So it's a mental block. You expect something bad to happen, Mahomes to do you at the end of the game. Them boys ain't afraid. Burrow came out the gate swinging at these boys like, hey, nah, we ain't going for that shit. So now it's the shoes on the other foot. The Chiefs, every time they go down, they dying to beat the Bengals. And they can't. They had them boys by 18 in the AFC playoff championship game. 18 points at halftime and blew the lead and lost in overtime. It's a mental block. They want to beat these boys so bad. Sometimes they squeeze so hard it becomes counterproductive. They'll get them eventually. But I predicted this, right? I predicted that the Bengals would beat them because they know how to play the Chiefs. They know how to play him. And as long as Jamar Chase, you saw how big he was in that game. As long as he was back, the one weakness, and this is why the Bengals always give them problems. The one weakness for the Chiefs has always been their secondary. Always been. And that's why the Bills are a bad matchup for them as well. The difference is the Bills can't beat them when it matters most. And the Chiefs know that, and they use that to their advantage. The Bengals can throw the football with the best of them. When they're healthy with Higgins and Chase and Boyd, and now, don't look, but Hayden Hurst is a big target at tight end for them. With all of this shit that they got and Burrow pulling the strings, they're dangerous. Chris Evans out of the backfield, Samaje Perine. I know Jay Gruden is smiling somewhere out there like a proud papa whose only son finally made it. Because he told anybody that would listen, that damn Samaje Perine can play. And remember when Bruce Allen forced him, he did not want to. When Bruce Allen forced him to cut Samaje Perine and he signed with Cincinnati. You know what Jay Gruden said? Samaje Perine. He went out of his way. He wasn't even asked about Samaje at a press conference. Jay went out of his way and said, Samaje Perine is going to be really good for the Cincinnati Bengals. He wasn't lying. No lies detected. He'll beat him eventually. That was a long, drawn-out answer that for some of you went over your head. I was all over the place. Let me tie it back together for you. These Bengals, they're young, dumb, hungry, don't know no better. Wet behind the ears, breath smell like Similac. They don't even know what they're doing. Chiefs, old grizzled veteran team. They expect to win. They feel like they running shit, and the Bengals just don't care. Ignorance is bliss sometimes. Eventually, that ignorance catches up with you, and you get got. The Chiefs will get them eventually. It might even happen in the playoffs. But for right now, that ignorance, that shit is bliss. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Chris. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Chris Mack. Hey, Lou. What's up, Chris? Hope all is well. Sorry to miss you on the command post-game live. It's all good, man. As I always say, it's there for playback. Not everybody's going to be able to catch it. You guys live lives. With 5 weeks left in the regular season, who do you think is the best team in the AFC right now and why? I've been on the Bills train all season long. They've had their struggles, their ups, their downs. Excuse me. Their biggest problem right now is the same that I see with Dak Prescott, and I've already made the parallel between the two teams. Dak throws picks and puts the ball in harm's way sometimes. Same thing can be said for Josh Allen. But both offenses are extremely explosive. They've got weapons. And defensively, both of those teams are stellar. Now, Dallas has a better pass rush, but I think collectively the Bills have a better defense, especially their secondary. When healthy, obviously. They don't have all their parts, but the Bills are the number one seed right now. If the playoffs started today, all roads to the Super Bowl would flow through Ralph Wilson Stadium, or did they name it? Yeah, they named it something else. It's no longer the Ralph. I remember my guy, JL Smooth, said, I'll always call it the Ralph. It's called something else now. But I think it's still Buffalo. Now, the Chiefs have been in the AFC Championship game 4 years in a row. 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah. And this is the 22 season. So, yeah, 4 years in a row and counting. So, I never will discount them nor disrespect them. But I think this could be the year for the Bills, finally, to get over the hump. And I just think it's because of Josh Allen, his playmaking ability, the weapons that they have on offense. And I think Von Miller, to me, is the key. I saw the little group effort they put together against New England where everybody was eating. That ain't really what they are up front. It's a solid group, but this thing is going to be – the reason they went out and paid Von Miller the money they paid him is because 13 seconds last year. And this year, you've seen instances where teams have been able to move the football, and Von Miller has been clutch down the stretch in ball games, putting shit away. If he's healthy, I like the Bills. If he's not, I got to go with Kansas City. Because that's the thing that we know the Bills are going to have opportunities to be up on teams. Can they put them away? That's where Von was supposed to come in as the closer. Make everybody else better on that defensive line. They got a lot of stuff, but they ain't Von Miller. So I'm going with the Bills now, but that's subject to change, obviously. Barry Curtis Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Barry Curtis Jr. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB rights. Cowboys always nice in the regular season. We all know it's a little different when it's a little different. But looking forward to the Cowboys versus Eagles. I am too. That's going to be fun. We wasted the good Cowboys Eagles on you. We wasted the good Cowboys Eagles game on Sunday night in weeks. What was it? 6? Damn, we wasted that shit. This was the one. This one late in the season at Dallas. Oh, well, ain't nothing you can do about it. We're going to have to take that probably at a 4:25 slot and have it be America's game of the week. I'm hoping, praying that week Washington plays on a Saturday or some shit so I can watch the game and not have to rely on y'all for updates. Let me see when that game is being played. Where's my mobile device? I'm going to see. I'm hoping because I feel really confident we'll be playing the Giants on Saturday in week 15. So I'm hoping that Cowboys game with the Eagles is in week 15. That's my hope. I think they play all of the AFC South though. So yeah, that's not until Christmas Eve. The 24th. It's 4:25. I knew that would be the case. Let me see when Washington's playing. I'm pretty sure we play on that same Christmas Eve day because just about everybody plays on that Christmas Eve day. Damn, that sucks. Can't have your cake and eat it too. I had a game on though. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm gonna have a game on watching it while I'm doing the show with y'all, so I can see what the hell is going on. We play perfect. Hell yeah, we play the 49ers at 4:05 that day. So never mind. I'll be able to watch it. That both of those games will be on. One will be on the big screen, obviously the Commanders game, and the Dallas game will be on the TV right next to it, adjacent to it. So never mind. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. We on Fox, aren't we? No, we on CBS. Yeah. Hell yeah. So CBS for us against the 49ers and Cowboys will be on Fox. There it is. What a beautiful, wonderful life it is. So I digress. All right. I can't wait for that one either. Barry Curtis Jr. All right. Let's see. Chris Mack, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. My guy Chris Mack writes, hey Lou, one Commander's question. What needs to be done differently by Scott Turner, in your opinion, to scheme it up to 1, get Terry the ball in the red zone, and 2, run the ball inside the 5? It's really not rocket science. I just get frustrated with him because it's like he doesn't have plays specifically for guys when he get in the red zone. He just runs his stuff. And that's the mark of a bad play caller, a guy that doesn't get it. Like you saw what Dallas did, right? Is that rocket science or what? I like my matchup one-on-one with Michael Gallup against whomever you got at corner. I don't really give a shit, even if it's Stephon Gilmore. But it's not going to be Gilmore because we're going to make sure it's not Gilmore. If it is Gilmore, you know what we're going to do? We're going to flip sides and we're going to throw it to CeeDee Lamb. He can't check both of them, right? Whomever isn't being checked by Stephon Gilmore, that's the guy we're going to go one-on-one to, and I'm just going to throw up a fade. Is that hard? I mean, seriously. Cowboys didn't run this intricate shit where you got guys running this way, guys running this way, back coming out of the backfield, and you got to sit and read it out. 3-step drop, back foot hits the ground. My guy's running a fade, and I'm going to get it to him. Why do we need to make this complicated? Terry, bop, 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 slant, boom, touchdown. Why can't we just do that? Isolate. Everybody to the right, Terry to the left, or everybody to the left, Terry to the right, isolated by himself. Bunch formation to the top of the screen, Terry down at the bottom, 3-step drop, Terry, bop, 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 inside, throw Terry to slant. I don't understand why this is hard. Help me. If you even wanted to make sure that no one buzzed underneath Terry, you can take a guy from the bunch side of the formation, motion him to the side where Terry is by himself, have that guy run a shallow cross that collects anybody that's underneath, and now Terry's free to run the slant behind it with no problem. Like, why do we have to run your little shit with the shallow crosses and all of this extra shit? Get the ball to your playmakers. You really want to run the ball inside the 5 effectively? Because when we bring 3 tight ends and make it 13 personnel, we're telling the opposition, hey, we want to run it here. So you want the element of surprise? You could do one of 2 things. You could spread them out and then give it to one of the running backs on the inside give. Or you could get creative with all of the weapons that we have, i.e. Curtis Samuel, and you can give it to him. Jet sweep, toss it to him, line him up in the backfield, got all this misdirection and hand it off to Curtis Samuel. Or you could just not have all the misdirection with Curtis and all that stuff and just get creative with how you do it in the backfield. So many different ways you can do it. Or you could just say, hey, we should be able to block you. I like the counter plays. They are far less effective down by the goal line because teams are firing their gun. They don't have as much real estate to defend, so they can be a little bit more aggressive because the penalty for blitzing and being aggressive isn't as steep. It's only 3-4 yards of real estate you're protecting. So if you give up something, you give up something. Not like you're giving up a 77-yarder, so you don't have to be as patient. You could just go. So if they're pulling guys from the opposite side, you can just follow the guys that are pulling, and it'll take you straight to the football. Whereas when you're in the middle of the field, you got to be a little cautious. It could be a fake. I just think there are ways that Scott Turner can be more effective, and he's not because he's stubborn. All right. John Cedillo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. My guy John writes, staying is likely predicated on getting to a conference title game. He's talking about Mike McCarthy. I hope that's not what it's going to take to get him to stay, because I don't want y'all in the conference title game, because if y'all get there, that means y'all can win the Super Bowl. So I don't want you or the Eagles there. The likelihood is the Eagles they're just going to need to win one game to get there, because they'll get the first, they'll get the bye, and they just have to win one game at home. Boy, I would love to be the team that they got to beat to get there. Oh, I would love it. But we got to make it to the playoffs, right? We got to get there first, and then we would have to beat somebody as the 7th seed, i.e. Minnesota, to get to the Eagles the following week. But boy, I would love nothing more than to make that happen. Anyway, if not, likely DQ is the next head coach, as we are not likely keeping him long. I wanted Dan Quinn gone last year because I felt like he was the key to the success of Dallas. I wanted him gone so bad. And when he decided to stay, I was like, shit, Dallas is going to be good again, because the defense is going to be good. When Dallas isn't good, it's because the defense sucks. It's never because of the offense. It's never because of the offense. There was one year that I can remember when the defense was dominant, the offense wasn't great. But when Dallas is good, the offense is good, but they're good because the defense is good. With Dak at quarterback, you're usually going to have a fighting chance offensively, no matter what. With Dak and Zeke for all these years, you've always been solid on offense. It's just been the defense. It's hit or miss. Boy, I miss the days of Mike Nolan as your defensive coordinator. I hope Dan Quinn gets the hell out of Dallas. I don't want him being your head coach. They become dangerous if that takes place. I need Mike McCarthy. So if that's what it takes, Dallas getting to the NFC Championship game, even though I can't even get it out, but I may be willing to sacrifice. It's dangerous, a dangerous proposition. I'm making a deal with the devil. I really don't want to do that. But I need Mike McCarthy to remain your head coach. If not, I really think that he probably gets, to your point, he probably gets a job this coaching cycle. If he wants out, of course. If he wants to be a head man again. Let's see. All right. Got a couple more minutes. I can take some hashtags. Let's see. Gregory Lightbody says, how good would Washington be right now with Trent and Cousins? We'll never know. I don't like to play the what if game because understand that if we had those two guys healthy, we may not have been in the position to draft some of the guys that we did. If we had those guys, Bruce Allen would still be in Washington as the team president talking about how close we are as we win 8 games, 7, 8 games every year. Because we're going to bottom out with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. He's too good for that. Worst case scenario, you're 7 and not, 10, and you're picking 15th in the draft. And you don't end up with some of the pieces that we've been able to draft. If Bruce Allen is still here, you don't get a lot of the players that we've drafted because he's drafting guys that were hurt that are great deals that we get in the 4th round that never actually play for us, i.e. Bryce Love. So, Darius Geis is another deal we got. Sua Cravens, what a deal. Ree says, had my interview, Lou. I didn't get it. That sucks. That means the job wasn't for you. They gave it to some tall, handsome guy. I knew right when I saw him they were going to give it to him. I mean, what are we y'all going out for modeling a job? I mean, interviews tomorrow and Tuesday, though. You'll get something, man. You'll get something. Jeff Saturday looks like he never goes grocery shopping and just eats stale and freezer burn food while watching movies. That's a good one. That's one of my favorite ones so far. Reese says Matt Ryan looks like a clerk at a sporting goods store. Nah, I don't really like that one. That was a blah one. Mike McCarthy looks like the Winnie the Pooh. Looks like Winnie the Pooh. You know what my wife said about Mike McCarthy? She said he just looks like he's got a slappable face. She's like one of them people you just jump at. Like you just like, shut up before I smack you. Like she had me laughing about that. Man. Niners fan says he was playing so well. This sucks. He being Jimmy Garoppolo. He says we have the worst injury luck. I will admit though, Brock looked damn good against their blitz crazy defense. He did. This is the thing about Kyle. Kyle knows exactly what type of quarterback he's looking for. And he's going to draft a guy that fits what they want to do. Even your backups in past years have been trash, but they've been good enough to, have you in football games. Whether it's CJ Beathard or what's the guy that's in I think is he in New Orleans? I mean, Chicago right now? Nick Mullins. He's in Minnesota, I think, actually. Yeah, he played for a snap when Kirk left the game against us. Nick Mullins. You've always had capable backups. Guys that aren't starters by any stretch of the imagination, but really capable. It's CJ Beathard, if I'm not mistaken. He was a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick. Brock Purdy, I think he was a 7th round pick, if I'm not mistaken, this year for you guys. I could be wrong about that. No, he was in on day 3 for sure. But I remember this very vividly. And there was this discussion, and I thought that Kyle was just pulling my leg. No, Kyle was dead ass. He wanted Mac Jones. I truly believe that now. Just think what Mac Jones would be in San Francisco right now. Think about how good of a fit he would have been for them. Anyway, Brock Purdy is a perfect fit. And they knew that. That's why they drafted him. I was shocked at how well he came in and performed, though. Like, he looked unfazed, unflapped, it was unflappable. And maybe that's just because you just come in and there's no expectations. I just go out and play loose. They're not expecting shit from me. I don't know. Maybe he's the guy now moving forward and, teams are game planning for him. Maybe he feels the pressure. I don't know. Maybe he's just one of those dudes like Joe Flacco that's oblivious to that shit and just going to go out there and stroke it. We'll see. Niners fan says, Tua was so trash today, missing wide open receivers. I think our defense is legit. I just hope we can avoid Dallas. Oh, I was like, why are you hoping to avoid Dallas? I think your defense would play well against them. You're talking about your offense against Dallas's defense. I actually think that's not a bad matchup for you, personally. But you got, again, with that injury, shit changes. So now you just got to make it to the playoffs. Now, that shit changes a lot. Thought I saw another super chat. I did. Now I just got to find it. Here it is. Ash, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, is Bryce Young / CJ Stroud worthy of being first pick? Bryce Young is. I don't think CJ Stroud is. I think CJ Stroud, again, just like Justin Herbert, he's toolsy, got everything you're looking for. I think there's something off with that kid. But I thought the same thing with Justin Herbert, and look what he's turned into. The one thing that I kept saying throughout the process in 2020, Justin Herbert has everything you're looking for. Everything. He's got every tool known to man and everything that a quarterback's coach dreams of getting his hands on. But I was like, I don't like the temperament. There's something off there, in terms of leadership. Not like he's not a good leader, but, he's not a vocal guy necessarily. He gives me Marcus Mariota vibes. I'm good. I get the same feel from CJ Stroud. And I talked to Ohio State fans who swear like this dude he's good, but he ain't what you're looking for. I'm telling you right now, if you're the second team in the draft looking for a quarterback, CJ Stroud's the man for the job. But if I got the first pick, I'm taking Bryce Young. The one thing I hate about Bryce Young is that he's 6'0". He might be 5'11". We said the same shit about Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. It is what it is. At this point, if you're an athlete, you got an arm, you got everything we're looking for, I don't give a shit how tall you are. I'm taking you. We're past the days of, being hypercritical of how tall a guy is. We've already seen those dudes go number one overall. Bryce Young is that dude. He's the most cool, calm, and collected quarterback I've ever seen in college football. He's unfazed by any moment, and it's not always clean with him. And I don't think he has the biggest arm. His arm isn't as big as CJ Stroud's. He didn't have a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen cannon, but he can get the football. Just like Joe Burrow. Burrow didn't have that kind of arm, but Burrow could get the football everywhere he needed to get it on the football field with no problem. I see the same thing with Bryce Young. And just like I did with Herbert or with Burrow, who went into Alabama his final year at LSU, went into Tuscaloosa and beat them in a shootout with Tua. This Bryce Young kid is just unflappable rather. I watched him in a game. He was not playing well. His team wasn't playing well. He did not have the talent around him that he's used to having. They go on the road to Texas, and they could have lost that game 17 different times. And with the game on the line, that kid it felt like 150,000 fans right here on him. That kid, you would have thought they was about to go to the grocery store just to pick up a few items. You couldn't tell if he was playing in a major Saturday afternoon football game for the right to still be, the number 2 team in the nation, or if he was about to go drive to the store around the corner to pick up bread, eggs, cheese, and milk. This is how he looks. Every time. Cool. Pockets crumbling around him. No problem. Step up. Go sideways. Fire a dart. I need to run. I don't want to run. He does not want to run. But if I have to, I will. That kid has it. Whatever it is, he's got it. I take him number one. No questions asked. No, he comes from a good upbringing. He's got that Jalen Hurts type of mentality where you just see it like that kid was groomed correctly. He's a leader. Yeah, Bryce Young is that dude. All right. We've hit the 120 mark. So I'm about to get out of here. Niners fan. If we win the next two games against Tampa and Seattle, assuming Seattle loses at Kansas City the following week, the worst we can finish is the 3 seed. I don't assume anything these days. But to your point, Tampa isn't playing well. But obviously, the injury to your quarterback changes things. I was really looking forward to y'all beating Seattle. I don't even know if y'all going to do that now. That game's in Seattle. As a matter of fact, I think that's a Sunday night game now. Thursday night game in a couple of weeks. I need Seattle to lose. I was looking forward to you guys beating them, and you still may. I'm not sure now. So this is why the league is so crazy. Because we were staring at y'all and we were saying, oh, shit, the point. Now I'm looking at like, hey, Brock Purdy. Our pass rush might look pretty good against Brock Purdy. I don't know. I mean, that defense y'all got is still nasty. So we'll see. I can't wait to watch that game. I haven't watched it yet. I actually want to sit down and see what the hell is actually going on, but I digress. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Your man, Louie T. Y'all go ahead. Get the hell out of here. Have some fun. This is a fun day of football. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. The Ravens game was crazy. The Bears game was crazy. The Jets game was crazy. Washington's game was crazy. I enjoyed myself thoroughly in the first half. The Falcons game was crazy. All these games came down to the wire. And got to watch some bonus coverage of Raiders and Chargers. That was a good ending. I got to watch the end of the Chiefs and Bengals. That was a good ending. So I was treated. All the shit that I watched during the day prepared me for the shit that I wasn't going to get on Sunday night. It was like, you're looking for a good game, don't come here. You got enough of that during the day. This ain't what you getting tonight. As a wise man once said to me, this ain't what you want. I knew this wasn't what I wanted, but I got it anyway. Colts dismantled, disassembled, and destroyed the 3 Ds you never want any parts of. In Big D. Pause. 54-19. That was vicious, flavor delicious. Cowboys are licking their fingers. That was good. Bad for us as a viewing audience. Good for a Dallas Cowboys fan. That felt good to the soul. Anyway, I digress. I will see you tomorrow if you're a Washington fan. If not, hopefully you'll come join me for overtime. Bucks, Saints, NFC South, family business. If those two teams said they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, you know the rest. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. You know what it is. Get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, you guys have a good one. God bless and good night.